All right. Well, thank you all for joining and welcome to this month's online pitch event from Dental Venture Capital. We work with startups, investors, advisors. We do this monthly. Encourage you to sign up for next month's event. I think most of the people on here know me. I've been doing this a long time. More than anything, I love to coach. And I coached my son 36 seasons of sports. And, I always am trying to help people kind of improve their game. As we were practicing football last night, I was thinking about this event and the reason why I started this. I've done venture capital work. I grew up in Silicon Valley, seen a lot of companies, seen over 500 pitches. And the point of this pitch event is to give startups opportunities to get in front of people that they may not be able to get in front of, to also find other advisors, other people. But it's really all about practicing. Practicing makes perfect. So when it comes time to pitch to venture capital and others, you have that opportunity. We are not a venture capital firm, although, maybe at some point we help companies really go from idea all the way through to exit. So we help people find everything from advisors to consultants that they work with, partners, customers, and kind of the full life cycle. I was thinking about this. Everybody, startups and entrepreneurs are kind of brainwashed about failure, right? So what I do, the reason why I started this program is really to help prevent failure. We hear about, Thomas Edison's quotes, Albert Einstein, a lot of people talking about failure. Failure sucks, and what I want to do is prevent failure. I equate it to a bowling alley with the bumpers on the sides, where I took my son bowling the other day. We pulled up the bumpers, and every time he hit the ball, it's the same thing with startup companies. There are so many great resources out there. When I started building my first company in 1995, there was nothing out there. The internet had just started. Today, there is no reason why startup companies should fail unless you've developed the wrong idea or you're going too big. As I said earlier to a couple of folks, I was like, it's easier to sell a small house than it is a large house. It's easier to sell a smaller business than it is a big business. When I started building products and technology in dental 21 years ago, there was a lot of firsts. We were the first to build online scheduling and first to build the electronic referral and things like that. There's not a lot of firsts anymore. It's really about finding a big enough market. There's a few out there, and there's a few unicorns out there, but they are hard to find. It's all about doing it better, and big part of that is taking it through the right process. So this is what we do with our customers. We work with customers all the way through the life cycle. My sweet spot, where I love, what kind of excites me, is the idea generation. Somebody with an idea and giving them the tools to refine the idea. I call it a customer discovery process, and then test it, make sure that it's the right idea. When I built the electronic referral, and why I became so passionate about this, is as we figured out later, after investing a couple $1 million in building it, is there wasn't enough of a market for the electronic referral. Dentists just want to hand out a piece of paper, and maybe that's going to change, but I haven't seen it change today. So we provide a lot of different tools. So contacts, again, doing it for 21 years. I was on with Tracy earlier. He told me he works at Royal, and there was 10 people in my phone from Royal that I've worked with. So I've just been doing this a long time and can help kind of navigate the right people to contact, the right people to work with in certain situations. And a lot of times it's not necessarily me, it's sending you to the right people to help you. And then other tools. We're heavy in the AI tools, heavy in the marketing automation side as well. One of the other things that we've collected in 21 years is over 8 million patient records. So I've been working with and consulting with several AI companies that are using our data set to basically build the intelligence into their process, into their systems. And so that is available to our startup companies. You want to be a data-driven company, a data-driven product, and we have the data set to be able to do that. We've had a lot of success with events. Kind of a clunky screenshot here, but I just wanted to show 36% deliverability. So if anybody wants to put on an event, let me know, because we're getting amazing deliverability from doing these events. Our ideal client is really anybody that's in the different parts of the life cycle, the 7 steps that we talked about. People that are open to feedback. I'll say no to clients if I know that they're not going to be open to feedback. As an entrepreneur, you got to put the ego. You have to have strong resilience and believe in what you're doing, but still be open to feedback, which is a hard combination to find sometimes, but also a desire to systemize your process and willing to put in the hard work. These are our current customers. Practice Orbit is a brand new one. Same with Dentrax and DentaFlow. Most of those are pitching today, although Practice Orbit I don't think is able to make it. And then the ones in the black are current customers and some past customers there. So Dentrax, Vajahat talked a little bit about the product. He's going to be our first one to pitch. It's an all-in-one patient management system, really 5 different modules. He's built a great suite of products to help with revenue cycle management, things like that. Practice Orbit is about making it easier to transact. So technology to sell, to buy and sell, multi-listing service type thing for dental practices. So that's it with the introduction. We're going to get into the startup pitches, and then we're going to have an open discussion afterwards. For those that were on our last pitch, it was scheduled for an hour and it went for 2.5 hours. And most of the people stayed on because the conversation was so good after the pitch. So I encourage you guys to, the reason why I chose this format of an open format of a meeting is just the collaboration and the conversation. I mean, one thing that I wish I had around me when I started my first companies in dentistry was a community. And a big part of what we're doing is building that community here. So the event format, current customers get 10 minutes to pitch and 3 minutes of questions. So have your questions ready. Again, positive questions, positive feedback. If anybody's negative, you're out and you're probably never coming back. So let's keep this positive. And then we'll move into the 4-minute pitches. Looks like we got about 12 people pitching. Last time we had 16. 12 is a good number. And then after that, we'll get into some discussions. So quick overview of a successful 4-minute pitch. I'm going to go all the way straight to the bottom. You can read through the rest of it. Just make sure you have a call to action. Make sure you have an ask. What do you want? What do you need? Is it money? Typically it is, right? But what else? Advisors, partners, technology co-founders, things like that. This group is all about finding the right people who can help you, not just about the money, but the money is important as well. Our next event is November 20th. We also support the Shills Fund and promote that. That's going to be on December 2nd. I will be there with Keith putting that event on. And if anybody wants to pitch, or you're going to be at the Greater New York, that's a great event. They did award one of my customers, I think it was $50,000. So, all right. With that said, Vajahat, I'm going to pass it over to you. You can share your screen and I will start the timer.
All right. Everybody can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So can you see the screen?
Can.
Okay, fantastic. Let me just move it to the side. Okay, so Dentrax is a automated business solution for dental practices. We have an aggregator. We work as an aggregator for patient management softwares, and we build from within the patient management software, pull the data and provide like actionable intelligence to the users, which means not just the analytics, but also a workflow related to those analytics to improve your profitability. Again, same thing. We provide OKRs and KPIs, but not in just an analytic form. We give you cloud-based solutions which are optimized to your practice and to your workflows, and we are going to license it as a SaaS product. So what is the problem? The problem in the market right now is the biggest of all ever happened, the resource shortage. And as there is shortage of the resources, the productivity of the office goes down. Reimbursement rates from the insurance companies are going down. And all of that combined leads to increased expenses and decreased profits. So that's what we want to tackle. I mean, how does it begin with resource shortage and goes on to ultimately affect your profits and makes your profit line slimmer or even cause your office to become in loss. So that's what we want to tackle with less number of resources and more technology. Just to give you an example, just these inefficiencies in the revenue cycle management and other aspects of a business can cost a business a decrease in like almost 13% of the revenue, and it can relate to the profitability of the practice. And that's what you don't want in a practice. How do we resolve this? We have uh, like 5 modules right now, which are fully functional, going from eligibility verification to claim submissions to payment and accounting, accounts receivables, which is complete like revenue cycle management, and then compliance and incentives for the staff members that are working in a practice or they're working offshore or in a central billing office. So the modules are divided. If somebody wants only a single module to be subscribed to, we have the capability of doing that. And if someone wants a full suite, we can give a full suite, or we can give 2 modules or 3 modules. It's built in a way where everything is flexible. Coming to the salient features of each one of the modules, Dent Verify is an automated eligibility verification tool, which also gives you capability of seeing everything that an insurance company is giving in the form of benefits to a patient in a 2-page form. So this information is filled out in a 2-page form in an automated way, which is also searchable, and it gives the practice leader or the treatment counselor good firepower to be able to close a sale. DentSend helps you with sending the claims out, as well as doing like same real-time statusing of those claims. So you will never have an issue when you're using DentSend to have any claims stuck in the clearinghouse for reasons of inaccurate data, or any kind of issue that happened with not being able to fill the accurate data. So you will get alerts after the date of service of the patient is completed within 12 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever you specify in the onboarding form. We will be able to send alerts to the business owner at that time interval. So you will never have issues of claim getting kicked out or not being answered or sent in a timely manner. DentRev is a tool which helps you to streamline your revenue cycle management issues, where we are able to preserve the life cycle of the claim. So if a ledger is taking, if the ledger of a patient shows like $1,000 in balances on the patient, we are able to pinpoint where those $1,000 are coming from, whether it's 2 claims or 5 claims or 7 claims. And everybody in your office can work individually on different items, and we preserve the life cycle of all the activity that's happening on that claim in the form of notes, in the form of EOBs, in the form of any type of communication that you're having with your team members. We preserve all of that, and this workflow helps you get paid fully without wasting your resources on people working on the same claim at the same time. This is a very interesting tool, Dent Accounts. It's an automated reconciliation tool between the office management software, which is your PMS on one side, and your bank on the other side. We have integration with 5 PMSs right now, which includes Dentrix, Open Dental, EagleSoft, and Dentrix Ascend. We are working with Denticon right now. But on the other side, as far as the banks are concerned, we have integration with 250 plus banks in the US and North America and Canada markets. So the way it works is that it pulls the data from your PMS, how much is your payment amounts, say for a specified date range, and it pulls the data from your bank, what got deposited in your bank, and it automatically reconciles that data. And it gives you pointers as to where the reconciliation did not happen. So if the reconciliation was 100%, then you do not have to work. You don't have to do that painstaking work of reconciling it on a manual basis. You only have to work on the items that are not reconciled. So this saves a lot of your resource time. It saves a lot of back and forth with your accountants on different items, and you can just have your office manager deal with this in a very easy way. Dencentive is a very futuristic tool. It allows an office to create goals and objectives for an office. It allows the office to create roles for different team members in the office, and it defines the roles in the tool itself. And we have a team that can work with you to give you inputs on which team members are performing to what level. And when the team member logs on to their dashboard, they're able to see the errors that they are committing on each patient. For example, if it's a front desk, and we are able to show you that these are the errors that that front desk committed on a specific patient, like, did not fill out the insurance information correctly, they have an opportunity when they log back in to go back and correct their error on their own. So you can specify as a business owner within 48 hours, if that team member is able to correct their error, that error vanishes from their dashboard and they are still eligible for a bonus. So this way, people are self-correcting themselves. They get motivated when they see the dashboard as the money flows into their dashboard, into their accounts to be paid at the end of the month as bonuses. It makes the team really motivated to do more in the practice and correct their mistakes instead of you policing your team members and making those hard statements in front of them, which demotivates the team. So it's a very futuristic tool that takes into account everything that happens on the social media. If your team members are posting, TikTok educational videos, if they're posting video testimonials from your patients, if they're getting a good review, if they're upselling treatment, all of that gets captured into this, and it allows you to do what you need to do in terms of helping them get more bonuses. So we did some market research on all these items that are out there, and what it tells us is that the features that we are bringing to the market, not many of them have all the features. So in a sense, Dentrax is superior to those products. Hopefully, when we get in the market, our clients are able to say that too.
Ajay, you got 30 seconds, just so you know.
Yeah, the key features here are live reporting, intuitive dashboard, and on a daily basis, you can look at all your offices. It allows you to do a lot in terms of what you can see on one dashboard. So we drive up the productivity, we reduce the errors, and we increase the profits. Competitor stuff. We are in a big market right now. So what we are trying to get at is a SOM of 57 million. And once we have 10,000 customers by our goal of 2029, we will be looking at good numbers. And right now we are looking at getting into partnerships and having people join us as partners. We are also looking for funding, and strategic partnership with funding is our ideal objective.
All right. You want to get to your ask, or that's the ask right there?
Well, that's the ask. I mean, I have numbers. I mean, we want to get to a number of a net profit of 6 million by 2026 by having 1,500 customers on our side. And if we are able to achieve this, then we will be looking at having a round B funding or a second round of funding.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to questions. Any questions from the audience or potential advisors? Anybody interested in joining? Once we get a couple of these done, everybody will get warmed up on some of the collaboration. All right.
Questions?
You did such a great job. They don't have any questions. All right. Moving on. Good job. Thanks.
All right, I did a bad job.
No, you did a great job. Yep, good job. All right. Moving on. So Verena Solutions. Michael,
Kyle, you have a question, Kyle?
Yeah, I was just wondering about the sales approach and how you approach the offices. Are you focusing on the B2B, or do you also look at enterprise?
Yeah, so this is like an enterprise level solution. It has ERP features as well as it has fintech and edutech built in it, especially in the future versions. That's the plan. So sales wise, see, we have a pipeline already from the revenue cycle management services that we are providing to our customers right now. We have 105 offices already on the USA Dental Solution side, which is basically our established business that has been in business for the last 10 years. So that is a really big sales puller for us. But then, yeah, we are looking into uh, doing B2B too. Like, there are a lot of billing companies out there that can use our product, and they can really do it well because we are providing all the metrics at the back end, which are necessary for you to be able to have solid teams that are performing at optimum levels. B2B, single offices, as well as DSOs.
Yeah, Kyle, one of the things that we're implementing for him is the tools with the database and the marketing automation. We're rolling out the Go High Level platform, which is a very robust marketing automation platform that I've rolled out for about 100 different companies. So it's a kind of a proven strategy for go to market and when you talk about sales and marketing, there's a lot of blocking and tackling, doing a lot of these things. It's not just one strategy. There's multiples, but as far as like the three pillars of success in dentistry, it's the opportunity to get on stage and speak and talk about best practices in your area, becoming the expert in your niche, right? And then putting on smaller seminars and then having a great product. That's sort of the cycle of sales. So when you're doing events, when you're doing conferences, make sure you have an opportunity to speak at them, get on stage, drive traffic to your booth. Otherwise, most of them are not nearly as useful. So I'm going to turn Vajrahat into, I mean, he's a badass. He runs a great, very successful DSO in Houston. He's the perfect person to do this. So I'm just going to make him famous now, in a different sense. And he's now got the product. So he's got the three pillars along with the service. So it's going to be fun to see, this rocket ship take off. I'm looking at those financials and I'm like, well, that's a pretty big number to reach as far as his goals as I would expect from him. But, we'll make sure we set some realistic expectations so people aren't disappointed that we don't get to 1,500 clients in the first year, or first 2 years, right?
2 years, 2 years. Yeah.
Yep, yep. All right. Good stuff. Well, appreciate it, Vajrahat, and excited to have you in the group. So, all right,
Thank you for giving me
Verena
this opportunity.
Solutions. Michael, are you ready?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Hey, you want
Apologize a little loud here. I'm actually at a Starbucks right now. I had to stop over. The traffic in downtown Chicago was a little more extensive than I thought. So, but we make it work, right? Roll with
yeah.
the punches. And
Hey,
there we
it's
go.
startup world. That's the way
That's
it goes.
it. That's
Love
it.
it. Yeah.
So how do I? So I can hit the share
Just
screen
go ahead and
button and
share
be
your
done.
screen. Yep.
Okay.
And I will start the timer.
Let me get the. Okay. All right. Let me know when you see that.
You're good. Timer started.
Okay. Great. So we are Verena Solutions. Been around since about 2018, 2017. Initially started out making medical devices. We developed actually a safety needle called SafeCap. Jeremy Kroll is on the call. Has been around for a lot of this. Has been instrumental in development and assistance with that product. During COVID, we started adding on some ancillary safety products and realized there was a big issue around price optimization and, more importantly, operations within the dental office around ordering. There's 1,000 methodologies for ordering out there. Take your pick, but they're mostly a piece of software and they're disconnected from the physical nature. We are a distributor, and so what we ended up doing. Excuse me here. Let me try to. We looked and realized that most offices either don't have a solid ordering infrastructure, or if they do, it's very inconsistent. And the person doing the ordering is often somebody who's also either a provider or somebody whose hours are billable. And so they're doing this job in lieu of doing things they could be billing on, or doing it after hours, but they don't want to do it. And it's quite a big pain. As a distributor, we talked to a lot of offices, and we see that it's kind of a chaotic map with how people do their ordering. We see a lot of supply shortages, people ordering from 10 different places. Even if you're using, a software aggregator, it's often hard to know what the true price of something is, and if there is an issue, who do you actually call? So we decided to develop a platform that we call Verena Plus. So take the distribution backend that we have. Think of us like as like a really small Henry Schein. I can get into sort of why we can be optimized better than they can be. Tack on an automated ordering platform that not just gives you like a monthly amount to order, but learns as you go, and then ties into your patient management software to project out what your needs are going to be 6 months down the line. So we can tell an office what their what their true needs are both now and in the future based on what current market pricing is, what they bought in the past, what the patient needs are going to be going forward. We've also developed, as we kind of roll this out over the last year and a half, we've aggregated data on ordering needs per office based on number of chairs, amount of patients, actual throughput. A lot of offices really don't even know what their needs are. And so we can help them predict that based on that data that we've got. So we can sort of look back at what both their ordering is, what like offices are, and then we can look forward as to what their needs are going to be based on their the procedures they've got coming up down the line. So we sort of take that, we remove the sizable amount of the ordering that gets done, and we look at kind of the 80-20. So we focus on, we carry products that are used in every patient, so mostly disposables. And then we work with other providers or other platforms to kind of make up the balance. But for 80% of what a practice orders throughout the month, we have that in stock and we automate it. So we reduce the amount of hours they spend ordering by up to 90%. Oftentimes they don't do anything. They come to rely on us so much that it becomes very sticky. And then the products that we deliver are based around our ability to predict what office is going to need. So we aggregate, let's say 100 offices, what their needs are going to be. We buy based on aggregation. We look at not just local wholesale distributors, but a lot of our buying is done through private labels overseas. And so the idea is to have most of what people buy be our brand of things. And as a result, we can often be, quite a bit less than what you see on the market today.
All right. What's your ask as we're wrapping up?
Yep, absolutely. So to date, we've raised about 1.3 million. Last year we did about 1.5 million of revenue. Was really the first year we were doing this. We've for this safe round that we're trying to promote here, we've raised about $900,000. The goal is to raise an additional 1.5.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So 2 minutes of questions. Anything from the audience? I mean, I'm definitely interested in talking to you about this. I've helped launch most of your competitors, so
I would say we don't have any competitors, but I'm happy to talk offline about that.
Okay, yeah. Well, some competitors that use the same language in their marketing that you use. Let's just say that.
We're not the only ordering platform. It's kind of how we do it. But yeah,
yeah. But curious, what's your strategy? You mentioned practice management integration. What are you doing for that?
So we're tying right now. We're working with Eaglesoft, Dentrix, and Aura to tie in, and then basically look down the line at what their procedure makeup is going to be over the next 6 months, and then we can project out based on the aggregate of ordering data we have throughout all the other customers what their ordering needs are going to be for 80% of their disposables, and so we can tell them exactly what they're going to need every month, rather than having to over order, under order, guess. It just makes it so almost all of their disposable ordering can just sort of dissolve.
Any other questions from the audience? I think, Kyle, you asked a good question previously that kind of applies here. From a sales and marketing strategy, I mean, you mentioned it a little bit down below, but you want to dive a little deeper into how you plan on bringing this to market?
Yeah, so a few different ways. One is locally through, and I think you mentioned a really good point about local seminars in the Chicagoland area, local dental groups. We've started joining in with some larger buying groups. So we have two buying groups that we're currently a preferred vendor of, and then we're actually manufacturing private label disposables for those groups. And with the partnership we've got, they put us right into contact with something like 2,500 offices, and we're just slowly raking those in as they realize that we save them a ton of money and more importantly time. Because of the automation that we provide that really doesn't exist in the marketplace today. Once the ordering people start using it, they become to rely on it in a way that they have a hard time getting away from. So that's been a big help. And then some marketing through influencer campaigns.
Perfect. All right. Next up, Smilefy, Ralph. And Michael, one other thing there, and I talked about this with Vajrahat a little bit. I have a list of all the meeting planners. So once you kind of get your presentation down, it's really good to start with those small meetings, get on stage at those meetings. And there's scouts and meeting planners out there, and then you record it, and then your content then can be pitched. I know most of the meeting planners for like Greater New York and Chicago and all those, and I also have a database of them. Podcasts are also great. I have a list of about 100 podcasts I work with people to get on, but the meeting planners are great, right? And they're very organized and they talk to each other. So once you start getting on stage at some of those smaller conferences, that's when you get to the bigger stage. And there's some people that will walk you through the training. There's a couple of very well-organized speaking groups. I also encourage people to join Toastmasters and National Speakers Association, which I've been a part of those for many years.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, Smilefy. Ralph, you ready? All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Hi, Travis. Thank you so much for the invitation.
I was buying you time to get set up, but all right. You ready to share your screen there and go?
Yep. Yeah.
I like to keep this moving so it's interesting for people, right? All right.
Sure.
Timer's going.
Sure. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Ralph George, and I'm the founder and the creator of Smilefy. Smilefy is a platform that is focused on smile design and treatment plan chairside. One of the biggest problems that we have right now, chairside, is that the dentists, they have limited control over the treatment plan and the design. So the communication between dentist and lab and patient is very, very time consuming. And we try to solve the solution by creating a platform which is automated, which is based on AI, which is based on automation and can help chairside creating beautiful smiles automated for the patient, right? And then offering the expertise and experience from 40 years of studies in aesthetics automatically done with all these AI modules and all the automations that we have. The point is, when you can design a smile in a couple of minutes, do you hear the dog? Should I move?
Nope, we don't hear him.
No? Okay. But so if you can design a smile in a couple of minutes, chairside, in the first appointment, even create and print the mock-up, then the case acceptance is a complete different one. Plus, if you connect AI diagnostics, if you connect AI treatment plan with the design, and the design is automatically adjusted based on the treatment plan options, then you have a very solid plan and it's not time consuming. You have the control, you have the chairside solution, and then you can move on by communicating the patient what needs to be done to achieve the most beautiful smile, and then you can manage all the data on one platform. So it is chairside treatment planning. It's enhanced visual communication, very important, because if we design a smile in 3D or in 4D with movement, but in 3D, that's exactly what the patient gets. It's the most accurate solution that can be done. We don't believe at all in the 2D smile simulations and all this stuff because 2D is limited for several reasons. So if you design a plan and if you design a treatment plan digitally in 3D, that's exactly what the patient gets. So the big vision that I have, and we work on the integration, is to have the AI diagnostics. Based on the AI diagnostics, the AI treatment plan. And based on the treatment plan, the smile design is adjusted automatically so that this time-consuming procedure is automated and nobody loses time trying to create designing these smiles, because you need very, very long time of experience and expertise. But with all the automations, with all the AI segmentations, and all the analysis that we have on the teeth, you can get very, very quick, beautiful smile designs that you can adjust, based on the feedback of your patient. So we have the smile simulation, not one clinical advantage. It's just to simulate and to show the patient advantage treatment, the 3D printable smile design, the mock-up, the diagnostic workup, whatever you want to use. And then we have the digital treatment plan where we have the segmentation when we
20 seconds, Ralph.
Yeah?
20 seconds.
Oh, okay. So what is the start? It was 2021. We made every year we grew. Now we have last year we made 1.4 million. We don't have investments. We don't have, we financed everything ourselves. We have around 1,200 clients, and we raised 2 million to be able to bring Smilefy to the next level of automation, AI diagnostics, linking all the missing pieces right now in order to really be able to 5x, 10x the business in the next 3 to 5 years. We are looking for 2 million. It's a safe round. And if you have questions, please let me know. I'm here to answer every single question.
Starting the question time. I mean, you've done great. I like your deck. Nice, well-designed problem statement, all the things I like to see in a deck. You've obviously done this before. How did you grow to where you are today? What's been your strategy to get to over $1 million in revenue today?
It was organically. So we started in the first year, 2021, we made around 800K, and then we grew 20%. We don't offer only the platform because the platform is technology. We offer the education in the area of aesthetics, in the area of smile design. So we help everyone getting started chairside with the platform, understanding how everything works, right? And they don't have the pressure to buy something and then say, oh, I need to use it the next day because otherwise, I spend a lot of money. We onboard them and we go with them step by step until everybody is able to use the platform at the highest level.
Got it. Love it. All right, Kyle. By the way, Ralph, one comment on that. I mean, education is the key. Most startup companies that I see that launch a platform forget about the education, right? And it may not be you doing the education, but at least bringing in people to do the education that are tied to the platform is absolutely one of the strategies for success. So love that.
What is the subscription for a client to get onboarded?
So we do have 3 different plans. The starter plan is $699 a year. The professional is $1,299, and the premium plan is $2,599, where all the features, the temporaries, veneers, all this stuff are included in this highest level of license.
Okay, I'll get your information from Travis and probably put this in my offices.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah.
Made it all worthwhile. Kyle, quick question.
2 would be, one, have you ever thought, or would it make sense to partner with somebody like an Invisalign? And then the other question is, how do you sell this with stating your competitive differentiation from, say, Pearl AI?
We already have the connection with iTero. The connection with iTero directly will be launched in November. then everybody who uses an Idero can scan, and the scan is directly sent to Smilefy, design, and then back. That's the first integration. It's going to follow more integrations eventually with Smile Architect and all the stuff. We do have integrations with Envista and Noble Biocare. We work now on the full art implant bridge, workflows, automation, and so on. The AI diagnostics, we don't have the AI diagnostics. So we connect companies like Diagnocat or Pearl. We get the data from them, and based on the diagnostics, we automate the treatment plan and automate the design. So our focus is the design and not the treatment plan, because they have 5 years ahead of us, in this special area. But we focus on Smile design and the automation of 3D.
Great. All right. Thank you. So up next, Chase Analytics from Gayasi. Are you there, Gayasi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and share your screen. And I will start the timer.
Okay, please let me know if you're able to see my screen.
And I'll put you're doing a WeFunder. I'll put the link to the WeFunder in the chat so everybody can take a look at the WeFunder link.
Okay, cool. All right. So, how much does it cost for you to manage your data solutions? How much does it cost to hire data scientists? It will cost you about between $150,000 to $300,000 per year, depending on the market or the specific role of the data scientist. How much does it cost to acquire licenses to run data operations by yourself? Or if you want to delegate that responsibility to a vendor, how much are you paying them? Millions of dollars. Our proposition is very simple. We want to cut down that cost for you by between 70 to 80%. 70 to 80% cost reduction is what we are offering. And how do we achieve that? We've created this software, the advanced data analysis tool, that integrates 3 major pillars of data science: data engineering, data visualization, and then data analysis. Data visualization, a prominent software there is Alteryx. They will charge about $5,000 per user per year. Visualization, you have Tableau. They will charge about $1,000 per user per year. And then SaaS charges $10,000 for core capacity for a year. When we bring all these together and still are able to charge less than $100 per user per year for a month, okay, $100 per user per month, then what we are going to do is to reduce that cost for you greatly by between 70 to 80%. Now, what we're also going to do is to address the unserved market all over the world, in Africa, in Middle East, in Central America, where cost is a significant determinant as to whether they will join the data revolution or not. We're going to address that. Now, another thing we're also doing is the coding aspect. Now, to be able to successfully execute data science or data analytics, you need coding. Well, our system does not allow that. We don't code, so that anyone, anywhere can do their coding on their own without any difficulty or struggle. And we are targeting educational institutions to help them reform their data analytics and data science programs. We're helping businesses to use our system so that they're able to cut down their cost. They don't have to hire data scientists to do most of the data works for them. We're trying to work with governments to be able to achieve that. We want to scale. We want to get millions of people all over the world to be able to use our system, and thereby expanding the frontiers of data science, artificial intelligence, and all forms of analytics. We have a campaign on WeFunder. We have about 61 investors up to this point. We are seeking more investors. Campaign closes in 4 days. This is Regulation CF. If you want a different vehicle to invest, we are also open to that. We can discuss that offline. If you want to have a demo session to see how the system works and how this can fit into your current system or environment, we are able to have that for you, give you some free version to play with. And then if you're happy with that, we can go ahead with configurations. And then we're also looking for a co-founder who would help us navigate through the complexities of the market. So that's what we have. Chase Analytics is the company, and our software is the advanced data analysis. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, great. Any questions? Nope. All right, we'll move on. All right, next up. let's see. We've got Dr. Hubert Goucher from Canadian Dental Research Institute.
Yeah, good evening. By the way, it's Gaucher. It's got a
Thank you.
French twist to it.
Gaucher.
More than happy to join the group this evening. You know, these pitches are interesting to me. And I do have a few minutes with you. I hope to share this oral health sector investment opportunity. Basically, we're talking here about a medical device for dentistry, prosthodontics, dental technology, dentures, and of course, we're going to be talking about edentulation. My background is as a dental specialist as prosthodontics. I spent my career in academia and founded the CDRI going back to the 90s. So I've touched upon a few projects over the 30 years elapsed, and it's my pleasure to share with you this project, which is really groundbreaking, I would figure, to move on. Let me see if I can reach my, sorry. There we go. So the problem with dentures, as might know most of the clinicians, are the diminished quality of life for patients. So this is just one of the studies coming out of a U.S. university clinic. You can see the problems that go from chewing difficulties to pain to denture-related stress, and so on and so forth. If you've done any dentistry in prosthodontics, you know that the most challenging patients are the edentulous. Since there are a lot of components, be them biomechanical or psychological to a certain extent. The discomfort in most areas is really the mandibular lower jaw posterior region. This is where patients are complaining with their dentures as they get into a new denture or even remakes. Interestingly, in the States, there are about 20 million denture wearers, and there are about 2 million new dentures annually in the US of A. So there is a market out there for what we're looking for is a solution. How do we help these patients with their complaints? We are looking for a flexible masticatory denture tooth surface. And here schematically represented is basically a ball and socket miniaturized attachment that will be fitted into first and second lower molars. And this is the overall product, which you see is finished with an elastomeric material, allowing for the flexion of the occlusal surface. In other words, there is some pivotal action coming from this attachment. What does it do? Well, basically, it provides increased proprioceptive feedback for the denture wearer's comfort and better chewing function. This is what is being relayed to us from patients having had these devices. And so it's really there to help proprioception, allowing patients to understand where the jaw is in the chewing cycle. The partnerships that we have on board at the CDRI are quite a few regarding this specific. We have a US leading denture teeth manufacturer who is providing the dynamic dental crown posterior denture teeth. And this provides us with a one-stop regulatory approval. FDA Health and Health Canada certifications are part of the partnership with this US-based company. And of course, we have an industrial manufacturing process, best practices for worldwide distribution networks. In other words, this product will be reaching international markets as it launches. Our second partner is, again, with the US University-based Research Center for Biomaterials and Biomechanics protocols are in place for biomechanical bench tests. Obviously, before going to our clinicians, we need to be doing some testing, obviously, seeing the resistance of the materials and so on, before heading on to the multi-center clinical trials. Now, these trials are essential if we're thinking of any serious market launch in the US or in any industrialized country, and that's part of our ask.
Great.
As we're moving along, we're just going to finish up here with the funding that's in place. We have over 762,000 USD invested. The opportunity is around 3 million US, 2 rounds at 270, and the second round at 2.73 million. CRI has a business plan project available, and we're looking for people interested in moving in that area. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any questions from the audience? All right, moving on. Ortho Barry. Karthik,
Hello.
good to see you again.
See you.
You see what I put in there with the data stuff?
Yeah.
I know you're eating that up.
I know.
That's going to be fun to see what we can do with 8 billion patient records, 9 million appointments, and 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, compliance and HIPAA and privacy being a huge factor, but it's doable.
Awesome. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Awesome. Hi, guys. I'm Karthik. I'm the husband to the orthodontist. My wife goes to orthodontic school in UIC. And in my day job, I'm an AI engineer building artificial intelligence projects for patient acquisition at Picnic Health. When I was working at Invisalign and when I was watching my wife in school, I realized that AI had a lot of applications inside the practice. And the vision that my wife and I came to birth was OrthoBerry. We basically want to create an AI-backed single practice management software focused on orthodontists. And why specifically orthodontists? Not just because my wife goes to school for that, but also because unlike general dentistry, orthodontic practice management softwares are not extremely interoperable. And that's why orthodontics. So really our vision is based on two problem statements we kept hearing. The first one is after COVID, several orthodontic practices. I'm sorry, is there a lot of background noise? Cool. Several orthodontic practices were complaining about staff shortages. So when we visited the practices and we kind of asked them what the core issue was, we found out that unemployment benefits were kind of paying more than walking into a practice and getting day wages. The second issue was that patients became a lot more comfortable with digital technology. Now, that won't be an issue if they just like digital technology. It's that they started demanding services to the level of excellence of an Amazon or a Netflix. And practices did not have the technology to offer that. So they started doing a couple of things to solve this issue. The first thing they did was they started assembling a lot of low-cost workers, either remotely work this practice management software or remote in from a different country and support them at a lower wage, let's say Philippines, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and so on. The second thing that they did was they downloaded numerous softwares, half of them that weren't even HIPAA compliant, and started using them inside the practice. And the third thing they did was, because practice softwares don't often talk to each other, they started using sticky notes that flew all over the sky, trying to bridge the gap between softwares, which kind of brought us to our current problem, that the average orthodontic practice today uses 10 or more practice management tools, all of which don't talk to each other, creating huge data silos and inefficiencies. We know what problems they create. You lose money, people get angry, and it delivers a poor experience for patients. Let me know if my, oops, sorry. Carly wants to give a guest appearance, forgive me. All right, so OrthoBerry basically wants to do a very simple thing. Use AI to make multiple softwares talk to each other and deliver amazing interoperability that reduces cost for the practice as a whole. We want to use the best-in-class solutions rather than reinventing the wheel to make AI really powerful for a practice. We tried to do a sample use case with new patient cards and insurance cards, and we found a 70% accuracy in prediction score from just AI. And to complement the remaining 30%, we have been using virtual staff remote in from India and complete the gaps where AI does not fit in. So human services plus AI gives a fully predictable solution for practices to leverage. Right now, we've raised about $75,000 and we're live in 6 practices in the US. If you want to support us, please invest in our seed round, and we'll want to expand to far more orthodontic practices, making AI not a dream, but a reality in ortho. Thank you.
Great job. All right. Questions from the audience. Karthik, you meant one thing you mentioned was kind of the integration of many of the different systems that the orthodontists are using, and I've done integrations to OrthoTrack and a bunch of the others of Dolphin. You know, they're not very open to working with outside vendors. So, talk to me a little bit about your integration strategy.
Yeah. There are two kinds of AI at a high level. One is one that uses APIs, so pre-built code to kind of log into a solution and pull data out. And the second one is what we call RPA, robotic process automation, which does what a human does, but do it automatically. So you open a screen, you copy the information, Control C, Control V, and you do that in loops. So we use RPA where APIs don't work, and that's how we make the last mile actually achievable.
So a lot of people are doing it these days. Yeah, I have a lot of conversations with the CIO for Henry Schein. They're trying to block that stuff, but it's not going to happen. You know, there's really nothing they can do, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I guess, you know, because that whole strategy is broken. One of the articles, one of the groups that I run is the Dental Integration Revolution, because I've done 15,000 practice management integrations with my bridges, and all of them make it so difficult, and they charge an exorbitant fee to startups. They charge $2,500 a month to be a part of the Dentrix program. It's just it's ridiculous. So that whole thing it's a constant battle that I'm fighting on behalf of the startups in the dental industry to make those companies be more open to integration. I was just talking to Carastack about it yesterday. So I'll continue to fight that fight. But the stuff you've got, I mean, there's other solutions now. So good stuff. All right, bringing us to our next presenter, one of my favorite dudes in the dental industry, Joe Guster.
Hey, what's going on, Travis? Hey, everybody. Go ahead and share my screen. I want to introduce you guys to DentaFlow.
By the way, Joe and I presented this presentation on stage 2 weeks ago in Austin at the DEO. Probably about 75 people in the room. We had 18 people sign up as interested in working with us on this, either as a customer or investor. We've already got a couple investors in, so happy to jump on stage with any of you guys at any point and help you pitch your company and product, because you know I like to see these things be successful. It's one of those niche products. It's a $300,000 home versus the $3 million home, and it's going to get sold a lot faster because of that very tight niche, which is what people liked when they heard the pitch. Very succinct message.
And I appreciate Travis getting on stage with us. Yeah, so just want to go ahead and kick it off. So DentaFlow is really a scheduling solution that came from the need of Care Mobile. And so if you don't know about Care Mobile, mobile van dental service, operating with single chair operatories that can pretty much go anywhere, trying to cover the dental deserts all across the US, right? I came on board about 2 years ago to build the scheduling solution. And that's where, like I said, everything came up. And once we got in there, we built an algorithm for mobile. It's like, hey, man, if we take out the travel time and all those things, we have something that can be used for all different types of practices. And the way that we look at things, I'll talk about it with productivity being the driving factor instead of just availability. It's something that we believe all practices should start looking at when it comes to their business. As mentioned, the team, myself, Travis jumped on board as well to provide some key knowledge and key insights on the market and other things as well. But Dr. Kwon Watson is our clinical director, who's pretty much the brainchild behind most of it. But now we're moving forward with a bunch of different new ideas and things that we'll introduce throughout the presentation. But it really came out of that need that Dr. Kwon Watson had with the mobile vans going to different locations, going home to home. Don't really do that model anymore, but we do still have some very unique needs as far as being in multiple different locations within the week, or even within the month that the solution really helps with. And so when I talk about DentaFlow, I really want to talk it up like it is the best scheduling solution for anyone integrated with Dentrix Ascend right now. So we have a direct API integration with Ascend. So we're not leveraging those third-party tools to scrape or even RPAs mentioned in the last thing. So Henry Schein actually kind of loves us right now because of that. And so, but thankfully they have a lot of APIs that were available to us. And so even with Care Mobile being the pilot customer, we've already scheduled over 1,500 appointments. I'm already onboarding multiple customers right now. And so we know the tool works, and it's really been helping us be super efficient. And no-show rates and things like that have stayed the same in most scenarios, or even went down in most scenarios. So just talking about our scheduling algorithm really helps for patient self-scheduling. In our use of data analytics, we've also built out a dashboard that helps us make decisions that we'll talk about at the end as well. So last year, we got the chance to validate the need for patient self-scheduling through a survey we got to perform with one of our partners in an accelerator that we were in. And so we discovered over 75% of patients prefer to self-schedule using a mobile app or a website than calling in to speak to a representative. In that same survey, we were also talked to providers and found out that 75% of providers did not offer self-scheduling, of course, for a bevy of reasons. Most dentists don't understand the technology, or they don't want to give up their schedule, even though their front desk is continuing to mess it up. It's not fully built out like the way they want it. But we've been able to take the brain of Quan with some of my technical background from working at Calendly and be able to create something that we think is we know is very useful for practices. So when we start diving even deeper into DentaFlow, we take care of both the new patient and existing patient workflows. And so once again, talking about being directly integrated with the Send, everything syncs back and forth, and we get nearly real-time synchronization of all the data, which of course ensures that we don't have double bookings. And then on the patient experience, we wanted to make sure the patients had a very easy and beautiful experience. So as you can see from the screenshots, we put a lot of work into the design. We cut down the number of steps and the amount of things that we ask for patients, because some of those things are things that you're going to have to call the patient for anyway. So why even ask them for it if you're going to continue to ask them for it again? And then where our competitors only work with like really the new patient, some people do existing, but it's really for existing for simple stuff like coming back for a cleaning or coming in for an emergency or a consultation. With some of the APIs that are available to us, we were able to build out patients being able to self-schedule even the most complex treatment plan, multi-visit treatment plans where, I have an example where we had somebody have multiple extractions over visits and also dentures delivered, and they're able to schedule that in a manner that's optimized for both their schedule as well as the practice, and ensuring that things are spread out like they need to be spread out, but also being very productive. And then, of course, once again, talking about coming out of the mobile need first. We built this mobile first, but for mobile first, but now we've branched out and we're starting to work with a lot more stationary or brick and mortar practices. Practice that I onboarded 2 weeks ago was a specialty practice was a specialty practice, and then we're also looking to onboard some pediatric practices later this month as well. And so I mentioned productivity being a driving factor for everything that we do. And so where I look at applications like Calendly, NextHealth, any other scheduling tool, they allow you to configure things behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of the available slots are typically driven by the availability and just those few parameters, right? But for us, we introduce productivity into the algorithm to give every appointment slot a score. And so within DentaFlow, every chair has a productivity goal depending upon the market, the provider, and the appointment types to be provided. What that allows us to do is ensure that patients only see options to self-schedule that are actually still going to help the practice be productive or even be profitable as well. And so we have a threshold in the system, 75% of the productivity goal. And if an appointment slot doesn't meet that goal, it's not presented to a patient, right? And so in the screenshot, what you're seeing is kind of our back end where we can see the algorithm working. And the green slots would be slots that would be available for a patient to self-schedule for this type of appointment. Yellow slots fell below that 75% threshold, so they wouldn't be shown to a patient to be scheduled. So adding productivity for us to the core algorithm is a key differentiator for us. Let me speed along here to give Travis a little bit of time. So with productivity at the core of everything we do, I began also syncing our data over into our data warehouse in Snowflake. And we built out a couple of dashboards that allow us to look at future productivity and make decisions around the number of assistants needed, be able to view provider compensation, and be able to predict and forecast all of those different pieces of information. Now I'll turn it over to Travis to kind of jump in and talk about some of the things that he's bringing to the table. I think you've seen the slide before today, but we definitely want to take advantage of those records and be able to train our system even more.
Yeah, it's interesting when things just come in at the right time, and it's what helps bring companies to the next level. And I met Joe on I knew Quan for years. Joe joined this pitch event. It's where we developed the relationship, and he said, would you like to join us? And I said, yes, after I saw the product, because it is a solution only for Dentrix Ascend. It's very specific. I went back, I talked to all my friends at Henry Schein. They said they don't like the Dentrix Ascend. I did a customer discovery process, went back to step one, interviewed clients and customers of Dentrix Ascend. Their biggest complaint was their scheduling. So it's a perfect fit. I've already got the buyer lined up. This is going to be one of those quick run throughs on the product of, from start to finish, and a quick exit. What makes it different, and actually this came from Karthik, thank you, a couple of weeks ago before this pitch. This wasn't even in this deck. But what makes this intelligent is all the data, the 8 million records, the 9 million appointments. So we're tokenizing and normalizing the data from a safety and a HIPAA compliance perspective, and using that to make the engine even smarter. So next slide, Joe. No-shows is one of the biggest problems in dental practices, and cost them a lot of money. Next slide. And so again, one of those, deeper story for another time when I have more time to tell the story, but proximity services, knowing where, this is where we pull an idea from another industry and bring it into dentistry. It's the beauty of dentistry. It's far behind many other industries, like, the delivery services. So this is knowing that the patient is not going to make that appointment, and then reorganizing the schedule accordingly. So proactive scheduling. Next slide. I cut myself off here. All right, go back to the ask just for a second. I mean, this is pretty typical when people work with me. This is a deck, one of my templates, right? Development cost is relatively low because we already have the product. We're asking for a decent kind of low amount on a relatively low valuation of 4 to 5 million. And so that is a very acquirable entity. You get to 40 million, you've already put 4 million, 10 million into developing. It's going to be very hard to find a buyer. This is one of those solutions that we're keeping it tight, we're keeping it lean, we're keeping our funding, everything that goes into it very light. It's also a spin out of a DSO, basically a group practice, the mobile group, which is great. So I'm always looking for those ideas that somebody has built internally elsewhere and pulling it out into a separate entity, and then bringing that entity and commercializing it. So any questions from anybody? And this brings them, if you scan this in, it brings you into a form that's created through the marketing automation system that we have, that we rolled out for this. So pretty fun. Joe, we've come a long way since you pitched a couple of months ago. Was that 2 months ago on there? It's
sooner than that.
Good future of this product. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thanks.
Any questions, Kyle? Any questions? No? Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. On to the next pitch. We've got Balance Pharma. Jason.
Yes.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate the time. Hey, everyone. My name is Jason Suggs. I'm with Balanced Pharma. We are a company founded by dentists with a focus and a mission on making dental and medical injections less painful, faster acting, and more reliable. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about Trelo, which is a brand new subsidiary of Balanced Pharma with a focus on long-acting non-opioid analgesics. Our name is actually derived from the number 3, which will become relevant here in just a minute, but we're really excited about the potential of what we're doing. This is just a quick design we did. With better tools, the dental profession can help end the opioid crisis. And we believe that because, as many of you may know, 94% of patients get opioid prescriptions after wisdom teeth extractions. And according to Stanford Medical School and other journals and other research, there's a 14 times higher abuse potential after a dental prescription. Patients are aware of the danger of opioids. I think we're all aware of the opioid crisis. 83% of them would actually pay extra for an opioid-free alternative. 20% would pay at least $200. And oral surgeons want better pain control, less liability, fewer after-hours calls and follow-ups, fewer prescription refills. I won't go through this, but this is a quick timeline of the attempts at a non-opioid alternative, getting up to Exparel, which was an attempt at an extended-release bupivacaine. In 2016, dental surgery prescriptions, I mentioned the numbers, were implicated in the opioid crisis, prompting action by Congress. And this year, actually, Endura KT was released, which is a non-opioid local injectable with 3 days of analgesia. But the problem is the presentation, the kit presentation, and that's where we come in. I'm going to skip over that one. So Enduracaine, which I mentioned, has much improved safety and efficacy versus its predecessors. 72 hours of analgesia, high therapeutic index, consistent praise from clinicians and KOLs, use in all surgical specialties, including oral surgery. The problems, it has a very short shelf life. Refrigeration is required, reconstitution is required, and it's incompatible with standard dental equipment. We have in-licensed patented technology that enables the Enduracaine drug to be delivered in a standard dental cartridge for use in oral surgery. This solves all of the problems that the predecessors that kept them from gaining acceptance in oral surgery. So safe, effective, easy to use, 2-year shelf life, no refrigeration. I'll skip through this, but you see how we compare. We would sell directly to providers and expect a 72% gross margin. This is a quick look at the oral surgery market. So I have a minute left. Enduracaine Dental, I mentioned it was launched this year. They already have a 700 customer list and growing, and that's the kit version. They have a 97% customer retention. And again, we solve the problems. So they already have the existing one, but we're all very excited about what our technology can do in partnership. We have the freedom to operate multiple patents secured, supply chain, CDMO manufacturing negotiated. Looking for a $6 million equity investment to reach profitability in as little as 12 months. I will skip through this, but we are happy to provide the financials on everything. Again, we're looking at tax-exempt exit opportunities, a short exit timeline. And I will skip to just say we have a very, very qualified team, both at Balanced Pharma and with Trila. You see some of our fractional leadership here with from engineers to those in the life sciences, our scientific advisory board, including Dr. Glazer, who's an NYU Smigel Prize recipient, and a 100-member clinical advisory board, which includes from practicing clinicians to authors of the textbooks. So thank you very much, and we'd love to talk to you if you have any interest.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of those faces. Tell Howard I said hi.
Will do. Will do.
What's the relationship? So, one of the things that we're working on, and one of the kind of best practices that I'm putting together in general for the market is taking an entity like Balanced Pharma is the parent company. Now you're spinning this entity out. Is that correct? Or
yeah, and I will say, Travis, I do apologize. I'm filling in for Dr. Cadle, and this has been happening very quickly this week. We actually had some significant movement today, and he is actually in a meeting related to this. So I probably should defer to him on the structural elements.
Okay.
That I apologize.
No, I mean, just something to put out to the audience. Anybody that has lawyers or accountants that have spun entities. I was actually talking to Jeremy Krell about this today. I'm working with a couple companies that have a parent that have built sub products, and they're like, okay, it makes more sense for us to spin that out. It's kind of my analogy of the $3 million home versus the $300,000 home. It's a lot easier to spin the sub products out. Probably talked to Vajahad about that at one point with his four or five different modules, right? Piecing it out and selling it off in parts, but there's some complexity to that, especially with the original investors and the cap tables and that type of thing. I don't think a full copy of the original cap table over to another cap table is the right way to go. There's got to be a formula that I don't know the answer to. So that's what I'm putting together for a few people right now. Any questions? All right, moving on. Let's see. Kyle, you are up. All right, timer started.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
This is the very first pitch. Mehmet here is also on the call, and he's the genius behind this technology. But what we're proposing is a new solution for
the slideshow button up at the top right, the slideshow, so you get it in full screen. It's a right side. Yeah, sure. There you go. Perfect.
We're transforming the oral care health industry by looking at remineralization technology. I'm going to go skip over the background. Most folks on this will know that tooth decay affects most of us. Most of us have had a cavity. Most of us have had sensitive teeth. And really the overarching challenge to that is the demineralization or the breakdown of the surface enamel over time, leading to surface caries, cavities that go down into the tooth through the dental area, through the tubular channels that give us sensitive issues in the pulp, et cetera. So that outer layer enamel remineralization is a key component to address a lot of the downstream issues. So what our team did was looked at the protein amelogenin, which guides remineralization, enamel production. We synthesized a small portion of that called amelogenin-derived peptide. And when we combine that into products, shown here as a lozenge, but we can put this into any products. The peptide binds to the surface of the teeth, guides new ion remineralization, and that layer forms hydroxyapatite layer production. So on the left is exposed dentin. On the right, including the exposed tubule channels. On the right is after a 14-day trial of lozenges showing remineralization on the surface, and including, importantly, is the occlusion of the dentin tubule. So that's really important for the sensitivity issues that so many people experience. Shown another way, on the left is one example of a whitening solution using the peroxide, which roughs up and exposes fresh dentin or enamel, given the white appearance. On the right is, again, the 14-day trial showing remineralization over the surface layer. So that gives good, strong evidence that not only are you going to build up teeth over time, but you're going to occlude those dentin tubules and promote a sustainable solution for the whitening industry. And so, as I said, there's a number of solutions out there, desensitizing, tubule blockers, fluorides used in a number of products, and that helps fortify teeth, strengthen teeth. But a remineralization solution would provide a number of a holistic root cause solution that can eliminate a lot of downstream issues. So when we look at market segmentation, whitening being a category with a lot of discretionary spending, that's where we're going to target our first products, lozenges and gels. And once we get our production, especially the protein, which is high COGS, once we get the production volume up, COGS go down, we can integrate those technologies into preventative care products, including toothpaste, et cetera. So I showed lozenges. This is a gel solution. After 8 applications of 20 minutes, we did show strong remineralization over the surface layer, including into the dentin tubules. But also importantly is because it's a hydroxyapatite layer development over the top, we're getting a whitening effect. So not only are we providing remineralization, but also whitening without sensitivity issues. So what we're doing now over the course of next year is bringing both lozenges and gels to market. We're doing them University of Washington as where we're running our clinical trials. We're just now completing our regulatory analysis and have the 510(k) assessment going in. We've got product manufacturers already signed up. We're doing 1,000 units of lozenges and gels. We've got dental clinics signed up for next year as pilots, including 425 Dentistry. The owner there sits on the ADA, and we've got partnership agreements with P&G and Amazon underway as well for scaling thereafter. So our ask is a 1.75 convertible note. This is what we're moving into with terms, goals, bringing the products to market and expanding to 50 dentists thereafter. So thank you. That was our very first pitch.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
The seal's been broken.
The seal's been broken.
It's easier every time, believe me. And some of our next presenters will tell you that because they've done a couple of these. So, all right, any questions? I mean, this is a hot area. I've seen some candies and some other things out there. I've got a couple partners I'll introduce you to, Kyle. So reach out to me and I'll introduce you to some people that are passionate about that space.
Thank you so much.
All right. Up next, Forensight DDS, Chris.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing? So this is my first pitch in this group, and my first I've pitched a few investors. We have some, and I'm working on sharing my screen. Give me a second.
Well, it's probably the only pitch you'll have where you'll have people like John's feet in the video while you're pitching. So I love it.
Let's see. Share.
And this is
okay.
We're
Can
going
everybody
over time
see?
here, but I'm happy to stay on as long as we need to and have a conversation after. So I think we're wrapping up here. We got just a couple more. All right, you're up.
Okay, everybody see the screen?
Yep.
Alrighty. Hello, I'm Chris Politzer, CEO and co-founder of Foresight DDS. And tonight I'm excited to introduce Foresight DDS, our AI-assisted platform designed to transform dental practices. We're backed by over 100 years of combined expertise in dental technology, marketing, and operations. Foresight DDS offers real-time, tangible insights. And give me a second, I'm having a tech problem. I'm sorry.
Got to connect you with Karthik. Freezing up there.
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry, I was having a minor tech problem. All right, so our vision. We envision a dental industry freed from outdated practices, systems driven by AI to enable smarter decisions and streamline growth. We're the catalyst for transformation, offering premium service and AI-driven insights to empower dental teams to modernize and lead the future. Our advisory board includes Scott Cruz. He brings decades of expertise in scaling DSOs, sorry, Scott doesn't do artificial. Board does. Scott's strategic. He brings. Sorry, I am.
All good, buddy. Safe space. We're good.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
Some
tech, all right.
Let me. The tech issues always cause the flow.
All right. So Scott has 26 years in DSOs. He's helped build over 26 DSOs himself, and also helps with M&A activity. On side of that, day before yesterday, excuse me, I was also able to add the senior advisor for artificial intelligence to U.S. Congress to my advisory board. Our team, like I said, is backed by over 100 years of combined experience driving hundreds of millions of dollars in revenues across industries. We've distilled this knowledge into Foresight DDS, helping dental practice to modernize and thrive. The global dental software market is projected to reach $43.2 billion by 2030. Foresight DDS is perfectly positioned to capture market share by boosting practice efficiency and driving growth through AI-driven business solutions. Many practices today struggle with fragmented systems. Foresight DDS solves this with Bastion AI, transforming fragmented data into actionable insights for smarter decision making and streamlined operations. Right. The importance of structured data. AI without structured data lacks efficiencies and effectiveness. Our team ensures that practices have clean, structured data, allowing AI to deliver meaningful insights from day one. We offer a best-in-class experience. We offer a premium onboarding experience similar to something that you would find with Apple. Kind of taking that premium brand, high touch, white glove service, designed to be smooth, intuitive, and backed by an expert team to ensure long-term success. Our onboarding process transforms practices into AI-ready operations. We don't just hand over software; we empower the teams to fully integrate AI for long-term success. So we found when we were working with dental, when we've been speaking with DSOs and other things like that, ready for some of the advanced AI can drive for business intelligence. And we're going to have to do that with a little bit of training and a little bit of onboarding that far exceeds the yeah, I'm way over time.
Okay. Give you a couple extra
All
seconds.
right. We have our social platform. Our platform, it's designed to mimic a social-like platform, so it's both collaborative and provides predictive and prescriptive analytics. And I'm just going to get to the ask because I just blew this all up. Sorry. All right, so we're seeking $10 million for 10% equity. The money will be used to expand our sales, marketing, and onboarding capacities and to capture market demand.
All right. We'll move on to questions. I have a question. So your company, what is the revenue today?
So the data aggregation side of it, we are in our seed stage. We are also in beta. The data aggregation side of our platform has done $250,000.
So am I reading this right? So you said a 10 million valuation or 10 million for 10%?
We're seeking 10 million for 10%.
Okay. So you got 100 million valuation.
Yeah, and our numbers that my CFO put together, they all add up and equal to what we're looking for. We're not necessarily looking for $10 million right up front. We're looking to do it with minimal investors, and then do it through milestone-based investing.
Got it. Different tranches, yeah. Okay, any questions from the audience?
I just have one question. Mehmet here.
Hey, Mehmet.
This is really nice. I love it. I'm just wondering whether you actually look at the problems as a whole, dental problems as a whole, when the patient comes in.
So the platform is designed, right? So we take all of your Despart systems, we bring them all together, and we've heard a lot of other platforms talk about that today, right? But what we do is when all that data comes in, it allows our AI to then get what we consider the deep micro insights, right? And then we're able to produce macro level, analysis that allows dental practices, both on the operational and the patient care side, to make faster decisions using the data that's available to their systems.
Okay, there are lots of details, but
yeah, there's a lot to the platform, and it's really hard to kind of cover everything that we do in about 4 minutes. And I apologize.
No, you did a great job. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. So next up, let's see, we've got Mark from Inflatrix.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
You're still there. All right. I mean, we still have a lot of people on the call, so we're forging ahead. We got 4 more, and then we'll open it up if anybody wants to stay on for further questions. Go ahead, Mark.
Sharing my screen right now. Share. Oh, present. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'm Dr. Mark Thorson, retired general dentist, dental innovator, dental educator, and professional dental sales professional. Who's had a filling in the last while? Was it fun? Dental patients want 3 things. Please do a really good job. Please do it very efficiently. And please, please don't hurt me. The current systems, currently popular for decades, frankly, have been in use for quite a long time, and they work. I've used them myself, but they are tedious. They take a long time. They require many pieces to be handled and ordered and categorized. They are uncomfortable for the patient, and they don't build much trust. Patients simply expect it to be a filling, and hey, we got to plow through this and get done with it, whether it's comfortable or not. I've lived this from both sides of the chair. The image on the right is me. I'm patient 0. The first patient ever to have a filling on 14 MO and back in June with an Inflatrix. The Inflatrix solves the problem because it is one piece. It goes into place very efficiently. and is much more comfortable. The filling I was done was for me was with a CO2 laser, no anesthesia, and there were no residual discomfort at the end. This process will build trust for patients and will lead to significant profitability for the doctors. It is simple, efficient, and comfortable. We do have 2 patents and a trademark. The FDA says Inflatrix is 510(k) exempt. I'm very happy about that process. We're being beta tested now by a growing number of rank and file GPs. I'm looking for pedodontists. Inflatrix is an ideal pedo adjunct. And we're looking for as much buildup as we can on that. In this year alone, 2024, I've taken part in several accelerators, one called G-Beta, and one that's part of the SBA called Thrive program, which is a wonderful process, drinking from 2 fire hoses, ladies and gentlemen. And that's important. Our market shows right here, the TAM and SAM, total addressable market, 480 from all GPs and pedodontists in the US. The specific addressable market, or SAM, some of us in the founder world call it the beachhead. This is where we're going first because those under age 45 are proven to be much more likely to be early adopters. We need these doctors on our team. The market itself will grow by 90 million over the next decade. That's a significant positive influx of new young dentists. We need that. As it says, the world market is double. We'll be working directly with doctors, selling directly. We'll be selling on inflatrix.com, which I own. We'll be going through the show circuit, which is a substantial component of my professional experience and success. The profitability is very, very high. I won't bore you with reading all these figures. Our initial ask is $40,000. That'll buy us workspace here in beautiful Gillette, Wyoming, and enough raw materials and equipment to build 2,000 units. We'll achieve MVP by the end of this year. And next year, allow me to get into trips, regional conventions, and contribute 90% of my time. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions? All right. By the way, at the end, I'm going to have we're going to talk about the Global Health Impact Fund. We have a really big investor on this call, a longtime friend of mine, Gary Goldman, and he's a dentist, but has built the Global Health Impact Fund and Global Health Impact Network. And I'm sure he's interested in talking to some of you guys about the investment side. But I don't know, Gary, if you're in a spot to talk, but we've got 3 more, so we'll be done in about 15 minutes. All right, Parb AI.
Yeah, I'm good.
Farouk, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, great.
Yeah. I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Can.
Okay, amazing. I'll start. So I'm Al Farouk. I'll give you a brief about myself. Initially in my life, I went to dental school, dropped out of dental school, did computer science and did a master's of computer science at New York University. Started my first startup, scaled it, got acquired by a Series B startup, joined the Series B startup, scaled operations to 5 markets. Right now, I'm starting Parb AI. So I started Parb AI because when I went to my dentist to get a cleaning session, I asked, like, do I have to pay anything out of pocket? And they're like, no, everything is covered by the insurance. So I'm always curious to understand the relationship between the dental practices and the insurance companies. My dentist was generous enough to invite me to his back office. I went there and I saw the most amount of inefficiencies I've ever seen. Faxes, emails, phone calls going back and forth. So as a dental dropout, having a technical background, being an entrepreneur, I saw a lot of room of automation in there, especially with the revolution of large language models and AI coding agents, which allows us to build fully human capable AI agents. So I teamed up with my friend and co-founder who did his master's at Cornell Tech, and he built AI software at a Series C health tech startup, and we started Parb. We went to Antler VC Accelerator, which has a selection rate of less than 0.5%. We got funded by them. We went to the market. We landed more than 20 clinics. We're working with them. So how do we automate it? The first scenario that we automate is the dental insurance verification and the eligibility breakdown. We automate that in 3 main steps. First step is like our AI agents would take the clinic's credentials, log into the payer portals, get the initial set of information. Second layer, our AI calling agents call the insurance companies on the clinic's behalf to gather the remaining information. Third layer is we have our human in the loop would interfere in case of there any missing information to ensure that the 30 to 40 minutes wasted on the eligibility breakdown is saved for each patient. Here we're going to see a demo of our AI agent Katie calling a demo of an insurance company to get the eligibility breakdown. It's a quick demo we can see.
I have some questions about a patient's coverage. Is the patient's plan active?
Yes, it's active as of January 1st, 2024.
Great, thanks. Could you tell me the frequency for code D9944?
Sure, just a second.
Of course, take your time.
The frequency of D9944 is once in a 5-year period.
Perfect, thank you. What about the coverage for code D9753?
It seems D9753 is not covered.
Got it. Thanks for checking. Is there any downgrading for Crown?
It's downgraded to D2791.
Thanks for that information. Does the patient have any history?
No, the patient doesn't seem to have any history on file.
Thanks so much for your help, Adam. Have a great day. Goodbye.
So we see here that the AI voice agents right now are nearly like indistinguishable from human beings. Our AI calling agents also, like we use them to call patients who have overdue appointments to reactivate them, and we have more than 5% conversion rate. We call patients having overdue balances to collect their payments, and we call patients to confirm their upcoming appointments for the clinics. So the future that we see is an AI operating system for dental practices where they have AI workforce that are doing the jobs that are currently doing by human beings in the back office. What we're open to partners and strategic investors from the dental market. And these are like this is my email and this is our website. If you want to like have a demo or anything, we'd love to have you with us. Thank you so much.
We'll open it up to questions here for 2 minutes. I love this space. I'm working with a couple of companies similar that are, tackling this problem. I had built a product called Verident, about, 5-10 years ago, insurance verification, and you could only get about 80% of it electronically, and the dental practices wanted 100%, so the product never went anywhere. So this gets that extra 20%. Are you also integrating in with the clearinghouses and things like that to get that 80%, and then this just does the 20?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what we saw from the market is like there are solutions offering the electronic information, some solutions offering like calling the insurance companies. We offer a full solution where they get 100%, no questions asked. Initial information from the web portals, and then the second layer, the phone call to the insurance company, and the third layer, we have a human fallback to ensure that they get 100% for every single patient that they have.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, love your background. Love that whole space, and there's plenty of opportunity in there. I've got a couple of people that would definitely be interested in investing and potentially even acquiring it. We'll talk more about that. I talked to the CIO for eAssist a couple of weeks ago. He was on stage at the DEO talking about AI in this kind of realm, right? And I asked him in front of about 100 people, I said, because there's a lot of concern about the government coming in and actually intervening in the AI voice space, because they've kind of been talking about that. But the feedback from the insurance companies is they actually prefer this over a human, which is, thought that was amazing. So I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, and also like for the communications with the patients, like AI can handle like thousands of calls at the same time to reactivate the patients, to get the overdue balances, to confirm their appointments. So we see a lot of automation in there.
But
so,
stay in the niche, don't, because
our focus is like the insurance verification. We want to be the best in the market, like 100% of the information.
That is sellable in the next year if you can just stay in that little space and keep your valuation at a reasonable amount. Nothing turns off investors more than an over-exaggerated, capitalization, right? So, Chris, you got a question?
More of a statement, Travis. I know you were talking about DC and Congress and AI regulation. I just happen to have their senior advisor on my advisory board. And the conversation around AI in DC, especially in terms of business and economic growth, is they're figuring out how not to regulate it. That's the current buzz in DC. So I just want to throw that out there for the group.
Love it. Yeah, that's good to hear.
So
We'll
Travis,
see.
can I reach out to you on your email after the meeting, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I put a link to schedule a time with me in the meeting too, if you want to do that. So,
Where is it?
all right. Let's see. So, Julie, good to see you again.
Hi, everybody. I will be the female representation in this meeting. Happy to do that.
We support. I'm a part of all the female groups: Dental Entrepreneur Women, Ann Duffy, Women in DSO, Amon Kaur is a good buddy of mine.
Oh, yes. Amazing.
A lot of
I'm
great
Dr.
support.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Julia Perideri. I'm a neuroscientist, and I have about 15 years industry experience in regenerative biology, drug development, and medical foods. And I started OmBiome as a benefit corporation, really on a mission to help the body heal itself in symbiosis with nature's ancient microorganisms. We would like to reverse age-related decline in oral health. I won't go through the statistics. You're all well aware that over half the population is affected over age 35. This can be tens of thousands of dollars per year. By retirement age, this is pretty terrible. 3/4 of the population are affected, and we're really looking at unmet needs like bleeding gums, deep periodontal pockets, mouth sores, as well as deeper in the gut as well. And why now? Because it keeps getting worse, and there's widespread nutrient deficiencies that are contributing to this. There's chronic exposure to toxic ingredients in oral hygiene products, and of course, as huge financial burdens. So people in underserved communities aren't able to receive care or delay care on a regular basis. So we like to feed the gums and using algae. They're ancient microorganisms. They have a rich nutrient profile. They're microbiome friendly, and they help accelerate tissue repair. So spirulina is an algae. It's a microalgae, and it's now mainstream in the food and phyto product category, usually available as a supplement in powder form, capsule form, taken internally. So we are the first company to make it topical, and there are no whole spirulina products in oral care right now. And we are new in the segment. We're creating the segment, and there's huge high growth potential given the results we're seeing from our data. So we have 2 products on the market right now. We have a spirulina tooth powder. It's a minimalist formula, only 2 ingredients, no flavors, no preservatives. Everything is dry. And then we have the spirulina chewables for a more convenient form, which could be used as a toothpaste tablet or on the go mouthwash and breath mint alternative. All of our stuff is vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, sugar-free, no strong flavors. And so these are some of our reviews. We have gotten amazing response from our early adopters, and even kids like it. And, people tend to feel that they're feeling better topically, as well as if they're swallowing it, they get benefits through like acid reflux as well. It's an alkaline formula, so it neutralizes acidity and it feeds the good bacteria, balancing the entire microenvironment. So like I mentioned, we have consistently positive feedback, dedicated following. We've established our proof of concept. We have a manufacturing facility. We have direct supplier relationships, and we are looking to scale this. This is a huge market. Look here, this graph indicates that we're across categories within the mouth and gut health. So we're looking at topical applications on the mouth as well as in the colorectal space. And then, yeah, this is some amazing formulas that can be developed off of this platform as well. In consumer wellness as well as therapeutics. So we've interviewed over 100 people. We've identified our ideal customer profile, and we are looking to just have more people learn about this. The competitive landscape as bits are gaining popularity as a product form. These dental chewables are sometimes over $1 per pill. Then spirulina bits are, again, as I mentioned, are taken as a supplement. And then on the lower end, there's a toothpaste bits and these kind of on-the-go mouthwash type strips. We're aiming at about $30 a month or between 20 and 25 cents per pill. We're first to market advantage in the segment. We have a nutrient-rich approach, a dynamic approach, non-toxic, as well as detox properties, unlike a lot of our competitors. Our marketing strategy is going through thought leadership with my own expertise, as well as the health equity angle, and we're really looking to serve those underserved communities and address some of the health disparities, both through research and grants and pilot studies. All right. So yeah, we're looking at B2B and direct to consumer. We're about $12 million in revenue in 3 years, and we have other applications as well as therapeutics. I have some data here showing therapeutic effects of the spirulina tooth powder in periodontal pockets that return to normal over time. And we have a lot of business assets and looking for 1.3 million. So thank you so much.
Got it. Okay. Any questions? We'll start that clock. Julie, I need to introduce you to my girlfriend. She's a functional podiatrist, like world renowned, and runs a company called Neboso. It's all about wellness, and she would love this. She's writing a book on longevity right now, and this is definitely a component of that. Looks like in connecting the full body, the mouth. What's your go-to-market strategy? Is this I mean, are you going direct to consumers? You selling through dentists? What's the...
Yeah, so I'd like to do both. Right now we're online available, but we'd like to build relationships with dentists and wellness practitioners, as well as, because we're a benefit corporation, we're really pursuing those health equity angles and looking for pilot projects. So we're working with Larda Institute here in Los Angeles, and they're partnered with LA Mission, which works a lot with the homeless population, as well as state-run care programs, facilities, procurement, military, things like this.
I have a question.
Yes.
Travis.
Yeah.
So Julia, this is great. Obviously, Listerine kills everything. In your case, you're introducing new organisms to take care of all the problems. Do you have plans to personalize this?
So I'd love to have a companion diagnostic available, especially if we're looking at the oral microbiome. I'd love to see how that shifts in response to spirulina. I know there's a lot of published literature out there on spirulina, both full, like whole unaltered microorganisms as well as extracts. And we have some of our own preclinical data showing anti-inflammatory effect, as a stimulation effect on stem cells. But again, looking at this dynamic microenvironment as opposed to just sticking one little thing in there and expecting things to get better. A really nutrient-rich approach. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
So if I'm reading this slide, you're 6 months in on developing and launching the product. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we have launched the tablets earlier this year. And then we're at the moment, I really had to step back for a moment there. We had angel investment last summer. And then we had a team for a little while. And I really had to step back and remind myself of the why and why we're doing this. And really, it's because of the mission. It's because so many people are suffering and they're still using those toxic products that are like cheapest on the shelf on sale. And I really I wanted to pivot away from being like some cool brand on Instagram towards a mission-driven approach where we're working with the people who need us.
Love it. All right.
All right. Thank
Great
you.
job. Guidemia Technologies, Frank, for our closer and our final pitch of the day. Thanks, everybody, for hanging on for the extra hour.
Hey, Travis, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Let me share my screen.
All right, timer start.
You see my screen, right?
Yep.
Awesome. So my name is Frank. Today, I'm going to introduce our orthodontic design software. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. I've been doing software development in 3D graphics, medical imaging, dental imaging, and medical robotics for more than 20 years. So we have seen lots of problems in digital orthodontics, specifically for design. That's the biggest challenge. It's very time consuming. Average cases can take anywhere from 1 to 5 hours. And it's very technically and clinically challenging. Lots of people are fail. It's very intimidating. And lots of doctors and dental labs, they don't have access to advanced technologies. And the communication and collaboration is a pain. There are numerous data sharing and cloud platforms. There's very poor or non-integration between the design software and cloud platform, and costly if there is any. And case management systems are not well integrated with design software. So here's what we do. We have all AI-driven automatic workflow for orthodontic design. It finishes the cases in minutes. Let's take a look at the video.
Videos are always tough in pitches, you know.
So in this short video, you see the one piece of software is capable of doing automatic design for bracket bonding, direct aligner printing, and arch models for thermoforming, making clear aligners, even with cutting path generation. So on top of this design software, we have developed a chair-side version of the software that can deliver treatment plan in minutes, and a communication software that can help share data and collaboration for free. And we also have a online case management portal. With all those platforms and solutions, we are able to support different business models. For example, chair-side appliances, we can support aligners in our bracket bonding in our. With the direct-to-consumer business models, we can better support their design. With the fully automatic design workflow, eliminating lots of effort for processing model and for communication. And for dental labs, aligner manufacturers, we have enterprise level solutions that can cover their design from data processing all the way to aligner models, as well as cutting paths, even laser marking data generation. So here's a typical scenario we have in our clearaligner.ai website. You can see doctors can spend like 2 minutes to submit a case. They can get their design in 5 to 10 minutes. Then they can refine their plan and synchronize with our data. And then they can get their final design back in another 5 to 10 minutes. So that's what we are trying to offer our customers as a design services with this process. So Cadmia has been in the dental area for a bit of time. We started with surgical implant surgical software, and during the past few years, we focus more on the orthodontic side. We have FDA approval and ISO 13485. So business model-wise, we are looking to design services and also to partner with clear aligner manufacturers to offer aligners while we don't make aligners. And the software is able to connect CBCT scanners, 3D printers. So we will be very likely working with equipment manufacturers and distributors.
All right. Thank you.
We're looking for partners and advisors.
Yeah, you want to get to the ask there? Go ahead. Looking for partners, advisors, and $1 million in seed. But how long have you been around?
Well, we have been developing the Ortho software ever since 2015. We got our FDA approval in 2017, and then we revamped everything during the pandemic. Now it's AI driven, all automatic. It can take care of, from A to Z, the whole process.
Do you have customers today? It says secure 100 dental labs. I got a lot of dental lab friends that I can introduce you to.
We started generating some revenue, but still in a very early stage. I would also appreciate very much if you can make introduction to dental labs. And
yeah, we'll talk about it.
clinics.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, we got one last pitch. Bill, you're up.
Thank you, Travis.
Sorry, I missed that. I don't know where I.
Can you see my screen?
Coming up.
Where is the oh no, sorry.
F4 to present, or just to present up at the top. There you go.
Well, I can't even see my screen now.
We see your Oral BioLife opening screen in your PowerPoint.
Yeah, I can't see it now. It went away. I apologize. Oh, here we go. I'll just go from here. So, Travis, nice to meet you. Bill Breitenbach. I'm the CEO of Oral BioLife, and it's my first time attending this meeting. So, thank you very much for the invite.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Gosh, it's not advancing.
If you hit F4, that goes into presentation mode for PowerPoint. You can hit the button at the bottom.
What the heck? Sorry, everybody. I've been having issues with my computer, and it's happening again this evening.
No problem. All right.
Let me just try to come back in.
Sure. Yeah. If you stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. So again, welcome. Thanks, everybody. Bill Breitenbach, CEO of Oral BioLife. Give you a little bit of background on our organization. We are bringing a device to market for the treatment of periodontal disease. We feel like we have a breakthrough treatment that's harnessing the power of piezoelectric materials that promotes the bone regeneration and reduces inflammation. We have a strong IT platform, and we look at it as a platform. We feel like the periodontal application will be the first, but we'll be able to take it into other areas of dentistry as well as beyond into orthopedics. We're currently prosecuting patents in the US and in the EU. We're excited that our organization is founded on strong research. We have 3 compelling in vivo studies that demonstrate that the product Amberlux Dental Gel does in fact regenerate bone, and high quality bone at that. We're in discussions with a lot of the industry strategics. We've got letters of support from Henry Schein and Dentsply Sirona, which we feel like validates the product's potential. And the market opportunity in the human arena is obviously very, very large, but we've come to understand that periodontal disease is rampant in the companion animal space. And I'm excited to share that we've secured a partner already in the animal health space. Phibro Animal Health, the 6th largest animal health company in the world, has partnered with us, and they will be bringing it to market late this year, early next year. And then from a go-to-market strategy plan, we want to make sure that we're partnering with the key DSOs and leveraging the distributor relationships to help us really accelerate the awareness of the product while we're expanding the strategic partnerships. Real quick, we have a very, very experienced leadership team. I bring over 25 years of experience from a pharma perspective, 10 years at Aventis and Sanofi, 14 years at Novo Nordisk. Prior to this role, I was the chief commercial officer for another small organization. I have periodontal disease. I've known the founder for a while, and having the opportunity to build an organization from the ground up was just very, very exciting. And it must be noted that our inventors at the bottom here, Dr. Orrego and Montoya, come out of the university, Temple University. So our invention, if you will, is really born out of the Kornberg School of Dentistry. So what's the problem? I hope I can get a couple more minutes, Travis, if that's okay, because of the technical difficulties. Periodontal disease affects half of the adults globally. That's 65 million adults here in the US. It really is a widespread disease and doesn't get the attention that it needs. The current solutions, scaling and root planing, that deep cleaning below the gums, falls short. It's a temporary fix, and typically, depending on the hygiene of that patient, periodontal disease comes back or gets worse and typically ends up needing bone grafts. The other piece of it that a lot of people don't appreciate is that the health consequences. There's downstream health consequences with periodontal disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, osteoporosis, diabetes, so on and so forth. So there is a real need for a better treatment alternative. What we do is we take and we really are harnessing the power of a piezoelectric material. We've combined that with a hydrogel and a photo initiator, and it's designed specifically for a dental application at this point in time. What we've been able to demonstrate is it does, with these electrical charges, stimulate bone growth and healing. It's very, very easy to use. It's applied into the periodontal pocket. It's cured with the standard blue light, and it adheres to that pocket, so it stays where it needs to be to help regenerate that bone, and it biodegrades as the tissue heals. This is our latest proof of concept study. It's in canines. It's a ligature model. After 8 weeks of disease induction, you can see that in the forcation and the bone between the teeth, you can see there's a loss of bone. After the first application, you can start to see the remineralization of bone in the forcation as well as in between the teeth. After the second application, you can see that it's even getting more improvement there. Our KOLs are thrilled about this. They continue to reiterate that typically it takes surgery, bone grafting, and even then it's very, very difficult to see the regrowth or the regeneration of bone in the forcation. So we're very, very excited about what we've been able to demonstrate here. So that leads me to what we're trying to do here. Our prioritization is an FDA marketing clearance, 510(k). Market prep gets back to KOL engagement, scientific exchange with advocacy development, and also partnering obviously with the DSOs and really having a strong account strategy. As I mentioned, we already have an animal health partner, and we will be generating revenue in 2024 through that partnership. So we've de-risked the asset. There's multiple indications with this platform. Our ask, we're in a $2 million seed round. We're looking to raise another $1.4 million, which will get us the biocompatibility study, an additional canine study, allow us to do some additional tox work, which lets us really prepare the 510(k) filing for the FDA. We also already have a CDMO on board, so we'll be scaling up for that CDMO to meet the needs in the animal health market, and we'll take those learnings into the human. And based on our timelines, we feel like we can bring this to market in the human space in 2026. We are working with a convertible note right now, 10% interest, and a 20% discount for early investors. So thanks for your time, and I apologize for the technical difficulties.
No problem. What have you raised so far?
We've raised $570,000 in the seed round, and we have a pre-seed. We raised another $150,000 in the pre-seed, and the first installment with our partnership, we received $250,000 from Phibro this year.
Yeah. At what valuation?
We're looking at a $16 million valuation right now, Travis.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is great. I love it. I'm a material scientist. I appreciate this. The PDL, to regenerate PDL, on the one side, it has to bind to the bone, and you are regenerating the bone. But on the other side, it has to bind to the root of the tooth, which means that cementum is already also gone. How do you regenerate cementum so that the PDL ligaments actually also stick to the root of the tooth?
What I can share with you to date is that after this is applied, it's a function of, I believe, the cross-linking of the hydrogel with the piezo material that allows it to stay in that place. And when you get deeper into the data, that electrical charge that's stimulating, it's actually stimulating the cells and creating, it's taking the stem cells and turning them into osteoblast. And that's where we're seeing the regeneration of bone. And we have in vitro data that demonstrates that as well. So what I can tell you is that it's staying in that place due to the light curing, and that electrical charge is doing what it needs to do in order to regenerate that bone. And actually, the other piece that I didn't talk about, because we don't have a lot of time, is we've seen an improvement in pocket depth of up to 50% as well in the animal models.
I love that. You're talking about this part. This is the PDL. You're talking about this part. That's the bone. That's wonderful. I love to see it. Now,
absolutely, I'd be happy to share the publication with you. It was published last September.
Yeah, it's the other part that sticks to the root of the tooth. So you explained this part. That's the PDL. And now we're talking about the other side. It has to stick to the root of the tooth. How is your technology handling that problem?
You know, I don't have a specific answer.
I would love to talk to you. I would like
absolutely.
To
I will connect you with the founder, the inventor as well. I can't tell you exactly, except that it forms almost like it's not like a rock, but it's more like a jello, and it stays into that periodontal pocket.
No problem. That part I love it. I think we have the solution to the other part. Maybe we can collaborate on that.
I'd love that. That would be great. Thank you.
That's what this is all about. Love it. There you go. New advisor for you, Bill.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. It's good to meet you.
Okay, Gary, I don't know if you're in a position to talk a little bit about Global Health Impact Fund, but I will share this website. I think you put it in the chat for you guys too, but Global Health Impact Fund is a venture fund that has invested in, and Gary's a former dentist and then anesthesiologist, and definitely one to take a look at. Global Health Impact Network is their network, and they're investing in health technology. So one that we don't see too often in the dental space, but Gary and I've talked for years about doing the Dental Impact Fund. So we got to get that done, Gary.
We're actually working on that right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, well, you want me to just talk a little bit about the network and the fund? Sure.
Yeah, maybe
So nice to meet everybody. I have to say that I haven't practiced dentistry in 27 years, but I went to NYU Dental School, and I kind of pivoted to anesthesiology through dental anesthesia. I did a residency in that. I worked for a couple of years, and then wound up going back to med school. So,